Right now, your brain is making a prediction. It's guessing what the next second will look like, sound like, feel like, and most of the time, it's right. That's the problem. Because a brain that can predict everything stops paying attention. Your commute, your kitchen, your walk to work. Your brain filed all of it under already known and quietly switched itself off. It's the most overqualified employee in the world, bored stiff, because it's seen your Tuesday 1,000 times. There's one thing that reliably forces it back on. Not a supplement, not an app. A plane ticket. So stay for this. Why 1 week away can feel longer in your memory than a whole month at home. And why the way most people travel now might give your brain almost none of it. That second one is the part nobody talks about. Neuroscientists call the brain a prediction machine. All day it scans for patterns and models what comes next, so it doesn't have to process every detail from scratch. When the world matches the prediction, you barely register it. You're on autopilot. It's why you can drive all the way home and remember none of it. Your brain never recorded the trip because nothing broke the prediction. Now step off a plane into a city you've never seen. The signs are in another alphabet. You don't know which way is north. You can't predict the next corner, the next smell, the next face. And in that instant, autopilot shuts off. Every sight and sound gets processed consciously instead of waved through as already known. You're forcing your brain back online, and that kicks off a very specific chemical reaction. Hit something genuinely new. A dish you can't name, a language you don't speak, and a cluster of neurons deep in your midbrain, in a region called the VTA, starts firing dopamine. Most people think dopamine is the feel-good chemical. It's closer to the brain's "this matters, remember it" signal. There's a well-documented loop between that dopamine region and your hippocampus, your memory center. Novelty triggers the dopamine tells the hippocampus to start recording. It's why you can remember a single afternoon in a foreign city years later, but not what you had for lunch last Tuesday. And you don't even have to leave yet. In one study of over 1,500 people, the travelers were measurably happier than the non-travelers in the weeks before departure, purely from looking forward to it. The reward starts the moment you start dreaming. Your brain even keeps a department for this. Researchers traced a pathway through a structure called the zona incerta that pushes us to seek out new things. And it runs on a different track than the brain's standard reward system. Think about that. You have a circuit whose entire job is to make newness itself feel worth chasing, regardless of any reward attached. Novelty is its own reward. And travel is the most concentrated dose of it a human can get. So novelty rewires memory. But can travel physically change the structure of your brain? For one group of people, we have the scans. London taxi drivers. To get licensed, a London cabbie has to pass an exam so notorious it's just called the knowledge. Roughly 25,000 streets and 300 set routes within 6 miles of central London, held in the head, no GPS. It takes years. In 2000, a neuroscientist named Eleanor Maguire scanned their brains, and the result became one of the most famous findings in the field. Licensed drivers had a noticeably larger posterior hippocampus, the back of the navigation center, than everyone else, and the longer they'd driven, the bigger it was. But a single scan can't tell you which way the arrow points. So Maguire's team did the harder version. They tracked trainees for years, before and after the knowledge. The ones who passed? Their hippocampus physically grew. The ones who failed, and people who never trained at all, no change. The training reshaped the brain. There's even an honest catch that makes it better, not worse. The growth came with a trade-off. Those drivers got slightly worse at certain other memory tasks. The brain didn't hand out a free upgrade. It specialized for the demand placed on it.
And here's the kicker. You might not even need a real city. People who spent 2 weeks exploring a rich, sprawling world in Minecraft did better on a memory test afterward. the detail that matters. It wasn't how far they roamed that predicted the gain. It was how much they explored. Not movement, exploration. So every time you find your way through a new city by reading the streets instead of following a blue dot, you're running your own version of the knowledge. Travel sharpens memory, and it can reshape the hippocampus. It also makes people more creative. But here's the most misunderstood finding in the whole field. It works under one condition only. Back in 2009, two researchers, Maddox and Galinsky, studied living abroad and creativity. People who'd lived abroad scored higher on the kind of tests that need a flexible, non-obvious leap. But the twist that should change how you travel, time spent simply touring abroad, showed no such effect. Living did it. Touring didn't. A follow-up found why. It wasn't exposure, it was adaptation. The people who got more creative actually engaged. They tried to understand why another culture does things differently, instead of watching it from behind glass like a nature documentary. The mechanism was cognitive flexibility. To make sense of a culture that runs on different rules, you have to suspend the assumptions you grew up with. And once your brain learns it can hold two contradictory ways of doing things and let both be true, that flexibility spills over. You don't just get better at understanding cultures, you get better at thinking. But only if you let the place make you a little uncomfortable. Hold on to that. By the end, it matters. Quick one for the comments. If the best idea you've had in years showed up while you were traveling, tell me where you were. Now, the strangest effect of all, travel changes how you experience time. The science writer Claudia Hammond calls it the holiday paradox. Think about your last great trip. While you were in it, the days flew by. But look back now, and that same week feels huge, longer in memory than whole months of ordinary life. How can one week feel both fast and long? Because your brain judges time two different ways, almost like it's running two separate clocks. In the moment, time flies when you're absorbed and not watching it. But in hindsight, your brain estimates how much time passed by counting how many distinct memories it filed. At home, routine generates almost nothing new. Monday dissolves into Tuesday, dissolves into a year you can't account for. On a trip, every meal, every wrong turn, every conversation is a fresh data point, stored separately. A week abroad lays down the memory density of a month. As the neuroscientist Dean Buonamano puts it, on vacation it seems to fly by, but afterward, if it was filled with a lot of new events, you've got a lot of items in memory, and that gives it the subjective feeling of a long time. It's the same reason time seems to speed up as you get older. To a kid, almost everything is a first. Every day is dense with novelty, so a single summer feels endless. As an adult running on repeat, you stop filing new memories, and the years compress and slip away. Travel is one of the most accessible ways to fight that. It's not just a break, it's a way of pumping memory landmarks back into your life, of stretching time back out.
There's a physical reset too. Chronic low-grade stress keeps the hormone cortisol elevated. And the ingredients of a good trip, time outdoors, more movement, real rest, a break from the notification treadmill, are exactly what's been shown to bring cortisol back down. Daily life traps you in a low-novelty, high-stress loop. Scroll, reply, check, repeat. Travel flips you from passively consuming to actively discovering. You stop waiting for the next notification and start waiting for the next bend in the road. It can even nudge your personality. One German study tracked students who went abroad against a group who stayed home, and the travelers came back measurably higher in openness and emotional stability. Modest effects, not a personality transplant, and driven mostly by the relationships they actually formed while away, but real. And over a whole lifetime, nobody has proven a plane ticket wards off dementia. Be suspicious of anyone who says it does. But decades of research on what's called cognitive reserve is solid.
Brains kept novel, stimulated, and socially engaged tend to age more slowly than brains left on autopilot. Travel is one of the richest sources of exactly that. It's not a cure. Think of it as cross-training for an aging mind. Which brings us back to the catch I promised at the start. And here's the thing, you didn't set this trap. Modern travel is built to sell you comfort, and comfort, when you look closely, mostly means predictability. So everything is designed to smooth the edges away for you. You land, and a blue dot walks you to the door. Your hippocampus never has to build the map. You stay somewhere engineered to feel like home. You eat where the reviews are in your own language. You point your camera at every sign, so you never have to sit in the discomfort of not knowing. Every one of those is sold to you as a convenience, and every one of them quietly hands your brain the exact thing it was trying to escape, a world it can already predict. That kind of travel, frictionless, smoothed over, strips out almost everything that was changing your brain in the first place. Go back through it. Novelty triggered the dopamine. Navigating without a blue dot grew the hippocampus. Adapting, not observing, built the creativity. The density of new memories stretched time. Every single one of them runs on friction, on not knowing, on a little discomfort. So the most brain-changing trip isn't the most comfortable one. It's the one where you get a little lost, where you can't read the menu and you order anyway, where you put the phone in your pocket and find your own way back, where you let yourself be a beginner again. The friction isn't the price you pay for the experience. The friction is the experience. It's the part that's actually rewiring you. Your brain spends most of its life trying to predict the world so it can stop paying attention. Real travel is one of the few things that drags it back. So next time you go somewhere new, don't smooth out every edge. Get a little lost on purpose. Your brain is listening hardest exactly when it has no idea what's coming next. If this rewired how you think about your next trip even a little, that's the whole reason this channel exists. I take one thing you were sure you understood and show you what's really going on underneath. Subscribe and stick around. And one more thing, because this whole video has been about one quiet enemy, the daily routine your brain stopped noticing. It turns out that same autopilot routine isn't only dulling your brain. Some of the most ordinary things you do every single day, the ones that feel completely harmless, are quietly costing you.
Don't waste it, bitch.